Martin Keown and Rio Ferdinand watching this one with me. And Rio, was that the perfect way to come back from that training trip to Dubai? Because they talk so much about the chance to reset.
Yeah, 100%. I think you want to start the game in a good fashion. They've done that. They controlled much of the open spells of the game, and then they get a set piece and score two goals. And I think this, when you look at it, I think Mikel Arteta will be delighted with the way his team has responded on the back of 2 defeats. This is the goals here. The first one, we spoke about the blocking from Trossard here, does his job magnificently well. But Gabriel, I think, makes it. He's the one who's aggressive. He's the one who looks hungrier there to go up there and win that ball and guides it into the bottom corner.
If that's against Man United, though, aren't you screaming foul?
No, I wouldn't. I think I said initially I did think it was a foul, but when I saw it in the replay,
just to cover that one off, I just think because he gets up so early, and I don't feel that he's hanging there. But I think that's very different to the Newcastle one at the start of the season.
The second goal was a great goal as well. Again, the set piece coach. There he is there on your screen. He's done a magnificent job. So.
He has, but I like that he's sitting there and not running around saying, look at me. You know, he's done his job really well.
We're doing it for him, don't worry.
Sits there calmly. He knows he's done all his talking with what they did for this set piece, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And those blocking patterns really stood out to you guys, didn't they, during both of those goals? Was that something that you always used to work a lot on?
Martin, you mentioned it upstairs, didn't you, saying that you was that guy who used to be...
Yeah, George Graham had various roles where, 2 of us would be the blockers and 2 would be looking to make the run in. So like the red arrows, 2 would spin out, 2 would come in. I preferred to be the flicker at the near post, which kind of gone out of the game now, flicking the ball at that near post. But the thing is, the execution of what they've put together, the work on the training pitch, and I think that we talked about a reset. I think these are the sorts of things in hot weather conditions you can tie in that information, and Arsenal carried it out to the letter perfectly today. So that was really important because it settled the crowd down here to get that early goal after 10 minutes, first one.
Really I think they understood what was required today. I think when you're in a position where another bad result would send this place into hysteria, they couldn't afford to drop points. As I said before the game, you've got City who have got a relentless pace at this stage of the season. They've proved that time and time again. They have to stay with it. So getting that goal so early today quietened the whole place. The anxiety left the building, and they were able to build on that. And you saw at the end of the game, they were playing very, very much like free-flowing football that we're used to seeing Arsenal play.
You could really feel the nerves settle inside of this place, couldn't you? That third goal, though, Martin, that came from a corner as well, but it came from a Palace corner. It was a really good counter-attack from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was, and this is what Raya is very good at, isn't he? He's releasing of the ball, and then we've got Jesus suddenly in that wide position and not the central position. Is that better for him there? He puts a really good ball in, but look at the composure from Trossard, a player who really doesn't get enough credit for me. I think that's 7 goals now he's got in an Arsenal shirt this season, and he's not been a regular. So just he cuts back in, puts the defender on his backside, lifts the ball beautifully over the goalkeeper, and that was a pretty well job done at that point.
Yeah, we were saying before the game, they've got to score more goals. If they're going to be a title contender, they need to get more goals, and from around the place, an array of talent to score goals. He's one of them, Trossard. And I think I agree with Martin. He's probably an unsung hero. I think he's a player that does give him something different, and he does like to score goals. But those runs there, we were going to show in a little while. That's the type of run that you need, where you got players running out, Raya gets the ball, it's the trigger, and then they go.
Gabriel Jesus not on the score sheet today, but what about his overall contribution?
I like him as a player. I think he's an excellent player. I just feel that there's an issue. Is he really the predator? Does he really want to get into that central position? And it almost seemed there that he kind of went back to type there. Look, I'll wander into a wide position and then I'll feed somebody else. But we've got a couple of clips coming up where he doesn't really make the runs into the box. So, you've got to want to get there. It's got to be that desire to get into the ball, and he can see the space, but for whatever reason he doesn't want to get into that area, and then they don't feed him, they don't play the ball. But that's an area perhaps he just needs to work on.
Yeah, and I think he's got to want to be just inside that 18-yard box. That's where the goals come. This is it here. You look at this and you see him there in the middle of the screen. At this point here, it's a race. Him and Anderson. He knows he's quicker than Anderson. He has to break. He doesn't even get into a sprint at any point. If he gets into a sprint into that area there, he makes up Trossard's mind. He crosses the ball. Trossard sees that he's not there. He ends up being behind, and it doesn't come. I mean, this cross here, could it have been a cross straight away? But at the same time, it's a hard ball to kind of finish on. But I think he's looked more comfortable at times in and around these areas here, wide areas, where he can get a bit of space and the responsibility to score the goals isn't there.
Yeah, would you want him behind somebody, behind that killer striker that you might...
It's just interesting that Pep had him for quite a few years and decided to use him, didn't he, in that right position. That looked like the role he took up for Man City. But if he's going to be Arsenal's centre forward, then there can have to be more work done on keeping him in that central position. But he works so hard for the team. He's an outstanding talent.
Yeah.
But I don't see him as a predator right now.
Well, Trossard on the score sheet, Martinelli competing with Trossard in this side, I guess coming off the bench, may have just thought, I want in on the act here, let's show you what I can do, and a couple of goals in a couple of minutes, Rio.
This is what I liked about him. We'll see it as it develops here. He's a player, I think. The defender makes a bad decision. He should probably go with a runner there. But here's the composure, the calmness in front of goal. That was Thierry Henry-ish in getting in those areas. He was magnificent at doing that.
He was, and this is his pace, you know, and he does his best work really running off the ball rather than running with it, and the spaces were opening up then, so it was perfect time to bring him on. And in fact, the second goal he gets, it's almost like exactly the same. Carbon copy, same sort of space. Gabriel joked that if he was, you know, another few more minutes, he might have got a hat-trick. It was that kind of like emphatic. Look, he's away there from the fullback, and it's the same again. Why not? Just do it again. That's what you've got to do, get that habit. And I think it was really good for Martinelli to come off the bench, to reinforce his confidence, and to get in on the act. Because he wouldn't have been happy sitting on the bench, Trossard in front of him. But it's good for the group, good for the mood, that he comes on and gets those 2 goals.
Just doubled his goal tally for Premier League goals this season today.
But those goals there are direct. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't intricate football. It was very direct. The ball broke. It closed. First ball to look forward. They played it. Bukayo, how you doing, man?
Bukayo, Saka just coming out to join us now. Good
nice
to see you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Winning ways.
Congratulations, Bukayo, a big win. Firstly, just how important was that early goal today, do you think, to settle a few nerves amongst the players and in the crowd after the run you've been on?
Yeah, I think it's really important. First things first, obviously, to win today, the 3 points. But like you said, that early goal from Big Gabby was really nice for us. You know, it sort of calmed us, and then we could control the game more and then go for the second and third. And I thought he was going to get a hat-trick at one point.
You guys, we've been talking last season, goals and chances were coming by in their bucket loads for you guys. It seemed easy for you guys. This season it's been a bit more difficult. How have you guys been dealing with that, and how have you gone about changing that, especially going to Dubai?
Yeah, Dubai was really nice for us. You know, it was nice to have that break. Obviously, we weren't in the best form before that. In Dubai, we just refreshed and worked on the things that we need to work on, sharpen all our tools. And I think with the goals, you know, we all know we can score goals. We all believe in ourselves. And, you know, we saw that today. We scored 5, so we're happy with the performance.
How much did you personally need that break? You've played so much football, just for you to have a chance to recharge and rest.
Yeah, I needed it. I'll be honest, I needed it. It was nice.
Are you fired up now? Ready to go? Was that enough of a break? Because it hurts when you start falling away from the top of the table. A lot of people criticising going out of the FA Cup, which was something you won, didn't you, at the start of your career?
Yeah.
So where are you now? Are you ready to go for it now? Do you feel Arsenal can do something better than they did last season?
Yeah, I actually believe it. And like I said, the break came at the right time. I think we're all refreshed now mentally and physically, and you know we're all hungry to push strong to the end of the season, and you saw that in the performance today. So hopefully you can continue like this the next game and the next game.
It's interesting. Like, I've been a part of Arsenal teams that have had lots of failures, and it's from that, I think, often that you kind of get that strength to say, do you know, this can't happen again.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Is that feeling there?
Or
now?
learnings, Martin, not failures.
No, but are you developing that now? Like, okay, I've had enough of this. I want to see some trophies.
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously, like you said, that going out of the FA Cup really hurt me. And I'm sure it hurt all the boys and the fans as well. So I think we'll use that hunger to really push in the Premier League and the Champions League when it comes next month as well.
Okay, what have you found different this season personally? I mean, everyone knows your name now. You was a bit of a surprise when you first come into the team. Now you're established. What pictures are you seeing different that you're having to kind of adjust your game maybe to now that you've become a more experienced player?
I think every game, you know, it's like we're coming against a low block. Not every game, but most games. And for myself, out wide, I find there's a lot of players. You know, there's less and less space. You know,
2v1s more.
2v1s, yeah. I found that a lot this season, but
People more physical on you as well.
Yeah, I
Robinson, Fulham.
Yeah, that's always been like that though. I feel like the Premier League is just a really physical league, but when you have 3 big physical guys around you, it's not easy. It's just about me just studying it, trying to find a solution, find a space, whether it's dribbling, whether it's passing. And yeah, it hasn't been easy, I'll be honest, but you know, I'm still trying, and I think we're still doing well as a team because it's not just about me. You know, there's other players. If there's 3 players in my position, I know that someone on the other side is free or someone behind me is free. So if it's not helping me, it's helping someone else as well.
Good.
And you're the league leaders in terms of set-piece goals, goals from corners as well. Just how much work is going into those behind the scenes?
Yeah, we do a lot of work.
It's boring, isn't it? I get bored
It's
of
the
that,
worst,
man.
it's the worst. But Nico, he's our set-piece coach. He knows, and he tries to make it fun. He tries to make it easy for us.
Is he having
and simple.
himself, though? Is he having himself? What do you
He
think?
should be, though. She said we're number one, so if he is having himself, then I don't
He's got
know.
to enjoy it, hasn't
He's
he?
got to enjoy it because we're doing well, and what he's doing is working, so we need to continue that.
It certainly is.
It shows you how important set pieces are. I mean, I'm the same as what you're saying there. I used to find it so boring doing set pieces, but they're so vital.
Yeah.
And if you're going to win trophies, set pieces defensively, but also on the
Detail,
attacking
isn't it?
side. Yeah, you've
People
got to be
doing their
ready.
jobs, role and responsibilities, and it looked like it was really tied in today.
Yeah, it was, and obviously we went out the FA Cup mostly on a set piece. That was the first goal we conceded, so you know we wanted to put it right today with a clean sheet, and we scored 2, so we're happy.
And it was Declan with the corner for the first goal. Do you think we're going to see him take more going forward? Is that something you've been working on? Because that was just his
I don't
fourth
know.
this season.
You're going to have to ask Nico. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But, you know, with that delivery and the quality Dec has, I can't see why not.
Can you send Nico out, please, when you go in?
Okay, I'll call him.
Bukayo, you've got another 10 days before your next game. How important was that win just to really change the mood and not go into that second break, I guess, with more disappointment?
Yeah, so I think obviously everyone knows we lost the last 3 games, and this game was so important for us, for the fans, and just to build that momentum again. And, you know, we got the 3 points, so we're happy, and, yeah, we can have the next 10 days to rest a bit and then refocus on Forest, because we need to win there again.
Maybe we should fly out somewhere else and do it all again. Hey.
Yeah, we asked the boss. We asked the boss if we can go to Dubai again.
Is it still the same? If you win, you can ask him and see what can happen. You think we get away or not?
No, I don't know. We're gonna ask him now, but
After a 5-0 win, he might be open to it. Just very quickly, though, you're 2 points behind Liverpool now. Do you prefer being the chasers? Do you think it kind of suits you?
Got no choice, have they, at the moment?
You want to be at the top, man. I don't care.
What did you prefer? To be at the top?
To be at the top.
Yeah.
People looking down on people. Chase us. Come on.
when you look at the league, I think you want to be first, no?
Yeah.
I don't really want to be 4th or 6th or 3rd. I think I want to be first. That's just me personally.
I love that.
Thank
Keep
you
believing,
very
keep
much
believing.
for coming out to join us.
Thank you so much.
Bukayo.
Thank you.
Cheers. Is there something in that, though, being the chaser, keeping that pressure on? Do you think it could suit this group
No,
because
I
of the
don't-
experience that City have got over the last few seasons?
No, I mean, last season they were the team, they were the front runners, and they got caught, obviously. But you're playing against a well-experienced team in Manchester City. I always thought you want to be the team ahead. You only don't want to be the team ahead is when your momentum goes. If your momentum goes, doesn't matter if you're chasing or ahead, it doesn't matter. But you want the points on the board and in the bag. That's always been the way that I've looked at it.
I think wherever you find yourself, you've got to be able to handle it. You know, if you're being chased, you've just got to concentrate, focus on your games. But if you're going after someone and there's a momentum and they start to slip up, it's a lovely feeling. I remember doing it in 97, 98. They were virtually handing out the trophy to Manchester United, bookies paying out. And Arsenal, 13 points behind, just started winding them in.
Well done,
playing
Martin.
against.
Well done, Martin.
So it was done. But
Well done.
conversely, 203, they caught us and took
It's not
us.
about
And
you.
it wasn't a nice feeling. We're just going to have to look at personal experiences.
Brilliant. He said he really needed that break, Bukayo Saka, as well, him personally. How much do you think he needed it? Because he hasn't been quite his best, has he, the last couple of months? But it's understandable, really.
I think he's probably getting a bit stale, finding it difficult. He feels the responsibility, so much goes through him, and the teams were stopping him from progressing. So probably a little break was really good for him. He's just a young man, isn't he? And carrying a lot of pressure. I think the variation to Arsenal's play would be nice. You know, like he's got to try and find solutions, but I'd like to see a little bit more the fullback getting around him rather than inside of him, getting outside of him, so it gives him a bit more space. But nonetheless, he's an outstanding talent, and I think he'll return to his form. I don't think he's quite at the top yet, but with that rest, it will certainly help.
Absolutely, he looked revived today. He's off to ask the boss if they can have another trip to
Let's do it
Dubai
again.
after that win, and we can hear from the boss now. Mikel Arteta with Jules.
Well, massive congratulations, a huge victory and a brilliant performance. What pleased you the most?
The positivity that we had right from the beginning. I had a really good feeling the last 10 days about the team and how they reacted against certain adversity. And they are great players. We have a great team, and today they really won it, and I could feel that, and I'm really pleased. First of all, with a clean sheet, and then scoring 5 goals that we really needed.
Absolutely, because scoring goals has been something that's been talked about so much. So when Gabriel got that early goal in the game. Do you feel like that just eased any nerves or any pressure on the players that may have been there?
It does. Opening the game up the way we did is really helpful, because then the opponent has to adapt and they have to be a bit more aggressive and allow more spaces, and we exploit that really well.
And you now have the most set-piece goals in the league, 13. How much have you been working on those set plays?
Yeah, we work on everything, and we have to control and dominate every phase of play. We want to be the best team in the world. You have to be the best team at everything that you do, and we can still do better, and we will continue to work on everything that we can make us better.
And you mentioned the importance of the clean sheet as well. I thought what was interesting is when Leandro Trossard scored his goal, all of the players and yourself and your coaching staff as well, all pointing at David Raya for his quick release of that ball.
Absolutely, because that's moments that you can exploit the spaces, and we read a really good execution of Gabi Jesus as well, and the pass and the timing of the Leo, and then the composure to show that, and he's got that. He's probably one of the best in that moment to disguise you and to use the space in the right way, and it was a great goal.
Last season, you were the pace setters in the title race. This time around, you're chasing. It's a slightly different role. Are you enjoying that?
It is what it is. I enjoy more when we win every single game, but it's what it is, and we're in a really good moment. I think we have still the second half of the season to play for everything, and we're going to go for it.
And you've mentioned already that it's probably going to be unrealistic to bring in a striker, and I imagine that after scoring 5 goals today, you're probably telling everyone you don't necessarily need one. When you look across the squad as a whole, do you feel like you have enough overall that you can push the likes of Liverpool and Man City all the way?
We're going to try our best, and what we have to do is love our players and make sure that they feel trusted and they have the confidence, because when a player lives like this, he can get to a level that you can never imagine. If he's doubting and hearing too many things, that's not helpful, and we will love the players that we have.
And just a quick update on a couple of them then, because we saw Declan Rice, when he came off the pitch, he seemed to mouth hammy, like it was a hamstring injury, and also Gabriel came off too. Could you let us know how they are?
Declan was feeling something, a sensation in the hamstring, so we want to take any risk at 3-0, and the other one was Gabi Magallas, that he had a tackle, I think, in the first half on his knee, and he was a bit struggling.
Nothing too serious, we hope?
I hope not, but let's see.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you, thanks to you.
A big downer for the Arsenal fans, seeing Declan Rice going off mouthing hammy in this one today. Much more to come after this 5-0 win for Arsenal over Crystal Palace. More from Rio and Martin on the way in extra time. But here on TNT Sports 1, Martin Bayfield and the team are going to bring you a big game in the Rugby Champions Cup. Well, they're 14th on 21 points, just need to get to that 40-point mark as quickly as possible. He said he expects that some of that sort of discontent from the fans in here today, Rio, is directed at him. Where do you think the majority of the blame is headed from the Crystal Palace fans? Who is it directed at, do you think?
I don't know exactly, but I think obviously the team, they're going to be disappointed because they get us the results. But you look at it and they're thinking, listen, the investment into the squad in the last transfer window, you can see some of the players they invested in aren't on the pitch. £35 million and the players aren't getting on the pitch. But you have to say that we were talking off air, Martin, about when they was in this position last season, when they were desperately looking for a manager to come and help, they chose Roy Hodgson. And do they want him to see them through now another tough spell towards the same end of the season as last season to try and save him? They've had a 10-year spell in this league. And sometimes I look at fans and think, what are you really expecting? Are you trying to say that your team now should be going to Champions League spots or European spots now?
But maybe they see the likes of Brighton and Villa and West Ham kicking on a bit and think, why not us? What is holding us back?
Last season they were on the cusp of a team fighting relegation as well. So you've got to understand where you are. Yes, we've got to build again, and yes, it hasn't gone as well as they would have liked after last season. But sometimes you wish for other stuff and you wish for more sometimes, and let's do something different to what we've been doing that's kept us here for 10 years, and you see teams go down like that.
It was interesting listening to Roy there, because Roy's hurting. And this time last year, I think Patrick Vieira had he went 12 games without winning a match. They've been one win now in 12. So they're basically saying he's almost like he could be one game away from change. Although I think that would be a mistake, because Roy is probably just the perfect person to steer them out of trouble.
Why do you think that would be?
But the next game for them is Sheffield United. And that is a huge game for them and for Roy. And I think it's coming home to roost to Roy that he doesn't matter. He's not exempt from the sack, because this board, you go a certain number of games and they make changes. But I think that would be a mistake, and they've got to keep their nerve.
You look at the next few games, though. You look at those games there. Their teams around them, though. You've got Sheffield United, you've got Everton, you've got Burnley. They're 3 games where it's like, if you win those 3 games, the picture changes dramatically. And you've got to take into consideration a lot of injuries to key players. We talked about the creative players. Eze and Elise haven't been able to play. When they play together, you see their win percentage jumps up dramatically. So he's had a lot of things go against him, like a lot of teams have. But when your resources aren't like the big teams who can go and bang 35, 50 million pounds on a single player, you have to find other ways, and that's what Roy and his
but I think from the point of view of the fans, that they probably feel that Steve Parish just does enough. Does he really gamble? Does he, is it too much of a gamble for these two? Are they fearful all the time? Are they looking over their shoulder instead of looking ahead and saying, let's build upon what we've got here?
Then he maybe say, look at Everton and Forest at the moment, potentially points deductions on the way. There's a lot to be said.
I don't think there's any danger
sensible.
of breaking the financial fair play rules for Crystal Palace. I don't think that's going to happen. There are talk of troubles within the board. Changes that may be there. It's maybe a little bit unsettled, but I think this is a key moment for the club. I don't think it's any time to panic. I think Ayew being away as well, the African nations, doesn't help because he's a really important player. But I'm not sure when everyone's back, it's going to be easy for them. Anyway, they struggle to score goals. He's very conservative in the way that they play, but I do feel that Roy is just the right person to stick with and get through. The Sheffield United game is absolutely huge for their season.
Well, Steve Parish and the club in general have just got so much respect for him, haven't they, Roy Hodgson? The ideal is for him to see it through to the end of the season, and then they can have a reset there. But when the fans sort of see Graham Potter here today, does that perk up their attention a bit?
Maybe, but listen, respect is there, but I think it's a results-driven business, this. And if the results aren't there and they lose to Sheffield United, I think it could be the writing on the wall. I mean, someone like that in a stadium, I think Roy Hodgson, if he turns around and sees him in the stadium, you're thinking, OK, who's invited him then?
They're 14th, 14th in the table, just 5 points above Luton, who've got a game in hand, who are improving all the time. It is a concerning time. And I think the manner at which they lost the game at the end, as Roy was trying to explain, he's hamstrung a little bit with his squad. He's putting young players on. And it wasn't really a true reflection, but nonetheless, it looks like a beating when you lose a game in that way.
But even when you have to make changes like that, you have to do the basics well, and did they just not do that today?
Yeah, and that's what will be frustrating. I think you'll be in the change room going like, well, what the hell is going on here? If we're going to lose, we're not losing to set pieces. Not simple goals, but goals that you should be defending against, and you're equipped and you've got all the technology and data in the world to understand that Arsenal are a team that are very good in this area, and that would have been discussed. So I'm sure going into this they'd have discussed that, and to lose 2 goals like that at the beginning of the game would have been hugely disappointing. But they have to find a way to galvanise. Last season they had Wilfried Zaha, they had Elise, they had Eze, to rely on these creative players. They need to get some sort of form and momentum back with these guys, and these guys have to be the catalyst, because today even they got smashed away at the park today, but any moments of a glimmer of an opportunity came through Eze. They have to find to get these guys on the pitch consistently, and then they've got to go and do their job.
Do you think they're relegation candidates? You were saying just 5 points above Luton, and with that game in hand.
Well, I didn't help them that they played midweek just a few days ago against Everton in the FA Cup, whereas Arsenal were out on the beach somewhere relaxing, so workloads. But I feel that Palace would be okay to stay up, but it's getting close now, and that will only energise the likes of Luton, seeing them get thumped here today at Arsenal.
This summer is so important for them, isn't it, in terms of the future direction of the club? What direction do you think they will take? Will it be bold or safe?
Crystal Palace. Well, it all depends on if they stay up. If they stay up, then I think, listen, they've got a brand new centre at Crystal Palace for the academy. I think investing in that is vital, and bringing those players across into the first team and seeing some of those players come through into the first team will be great. But I always say this, wherever you are in the league, the recruitment is hugely important. And the recruitment from the last window hasn't bared fruit, because we're not seeing those players on the pitch impacting the first 11. And a club at this level, you need to be able to bring players in who are going to affect that first 11 immediately, and they haven't been able to do that. No,
but I think looking forward, they've got to secure the futures of the good players that they do have. They're able to do that with Elise in the summer.
They've got Eze on a long-term deal, Elise as well.
And Anderson, Gahey, really good players. A lot of other clubs will look with envy. A lot of people look at envy in total of what Palace have done for the last 10 years. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Also,
but it's the ambition, I think, the fans are questioning.
But I know there's managers in this league, in the lower echelons of this league, and say top of the champ, etc., who are saying, "I'd love that squad. I'd love to work with that squad," because you do see potential in there. There's players of potential all through that team.
So you think Roy should be extracting more out of them?
I think he would say that himself. I need to get more out of this team. I need to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. I've got to galvanise this team. You've got to create that spirit now. I think you've got to go in that dressing room and say, guys, we're in a fight now. We are in a relegation fight and we need to find a way out of it. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. I'm going to put things in place so we understands our roles and responsibility, and we go out there and play. And we're not playing with a handbrake on or with any fear. We're going to meet this head on because we've been here. We've been here and we've got out last time.
And get the basics right. You know, the set pieces would have hurt them. I didn't think the tactics as well, playing with a 5. We asked that question to Roy, you know, how are you going to protect your fullbacks? Because, you know, wing-backs come all the way back to deal with it. So 5 players on the back line, 3 people picking up in the middle, the centre forward. So they looked like they were in trouble throughout the game. It wasn't a fantastic... Arsenal in the first half were nowhere near the performance that they put in against Liverpool, but we still managed to be 2-0 up.
Tell you one man will be happy tonight, it'll be Mikel Arteta. He'll be delighted because that's what they needed. This is what the doctor ordered and he got what he needed.
Absolutely. 2 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool at Bournemouth tomorrow as well. That's not going to be an easy game for them, is it? They've got no Salah. They've got no Trent Alexander-Arnold as well through injury.
Bournemouth have won 6 of the last 8 games. They're in really good form.
Solanke
playing against his old team. I don't think I'm going to see an upset there though somehow. I think Liverpool's starting a purr now.
Yeah, Arsenal will be watching that one
very
closely. What do you think?
Well, I think Liverpool will be too strong. I think Bournemouth will be a tough nut to crack, but I think Liverpool just have a bit too much with the experience as well. And they're not shipping goals either, Liverpool, so they're hard to play against. And I think they've got that depth up front. Salah's not there, but they've got other players who can come in. I'm sure Diaz, Núñez, Jota, these guys will step up to the plate.
And Ivan Toney back. He's back for Brentford later on today. Just how key is he going to be in the rest of their season?
Oh, without doubt. Their strikers have not been available. One's injured, one's in the African nations. But I think he's a player that could be a special talent. We're going to see how really good he is and see how mature he is. He's had a really difficult 9 months away from the game. Won't be instantly ready to go. But he'll be looking to grab the headlines.
He scores today. He scores.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the 3rd time that Roy Hodgson has lost by 5 goals or more in his managerial career of over 500 games. OK, we're going to head straight back to the ground and actually get some Arsenal perspective on this. Trossard, who joins us live. Hello, Leandro. Thank you very much for joining us. And tell us, how did it feel? That victory must have felt good.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great way to start again in the league, and that's what we worked for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, it's really nice to score 5 goals and get a clean sheet, of course.
Leandro, I was just wanting to say that the break what you had, it came at the perfect time. What was the mood like with the camp? Obviously losing the 3 games, a game like Palace, when you come back at home, did you feel the pressure of having to win this game?
Yeah, obviously you always feel pressure here because we're such a big club, but still after those results we always believe in our qualities, and I think we had such a good week in Dubai at training camp, and I felt like we were all fresh to start this game, and I think you could tell as well from the start we were really hungry to win this game and score also a couple of goals, and we succeeded, and it's really nice to win this game in that way.
Yeah, and that hunger and desire really showed today, Leandro. You mentioned obviously going to Dubai. You had your last Premier League game about 20 days ago. What is it that you were working on in Dubai exactly?
A bit of everything, to be honest. Yeah, I think, like I said, we wanted to score a couple of goals, and we worked on that as well, at the attacking patterns and in general. And yeah, it's nice that it pulled off today, and yeah, we enjoyed it a lot.
It was great to see on the score sheet. Was you happy with your goal? Obviously, you're happy with your goal, but to come into the side, with a team that there's a lot of competition for places. Was you happy with the way it worked out for you?
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to score as an attacking player, and I think it's a great team goal. It doesn't take long from David to get the ball to me, I think. But yeah, it's always nice to be on the score sheet and to help your team to get a win, obviously.
Leandro, you've got 4 goals and 7 assists at the Emirates. You clearly like playing in front of that home support.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's always nice to play at the Emirates in front of your home fans, and that's why it's always great to give something back to them. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
OK, well, thank you very much for your time and for joining us. Congratulations on the win and good luck in the next one against Forest. Well, you can see, we've heard from both Gabriels, we've heard from Trossard as well. You can just see how much this victory has lifted those players.
Of course, because they would have heard all the noise about Arsenal struggling in front of goal, losing 3 on the bounce, and it would have been hurting them because, as he said there, Arsenal are a massive football club. They've got aspirations of winning the titles, and they know they've let opportunities slip leading up to this game. But today, I thought it was a fantastic performance in the end, and he played his part in that as well.
And Righty, going back to what you said at the start, you said no need to panic. No need to panic, and you're right.
Absolutely, because like we showed, they're making chances. And again, you have to stress how poor Palace were, and they took full advantage. But you just beat what's in front of you, and you just want to get confidence and momentum from it. They've got a couple of good games coming up now, and they just want to make sure that they double down on this result and go again and again to make people see that they're very much in this.
How do they maintain this sort of level and this sort of standard and this level of confidence? Because not only do they have Forest next, which, you know, there's never an easy game in the Premier League, but then they do play Liverpool at home, and that will be a big one.
They had a different attitude the way they played today. And again, you can't excuse the fact that Palace weren't tight on them. But they played with a lot more pace about their game. They looked a lot more ruthless about it. The set pieces were very much on the button. And in the end, you know, obviously if Palace are not going to get tight enough, you've got players who will turn you and will pass the ball. If you're going to have a line that high, you will get punished. All that will do for the Arsenal players is make them even more confident about the chances that they're going to get now. So they don't feel the pressure on, we need to score because we haven't scored. You know, they'll just get on with it. They looked a lot calmer when that's what that result done for them.
Yeah, and we've seen the top of the table as well for Arsenal. They're only, 2 points off of Liverpool. So they've put the pressure on Liverpool ahead of their game tomorrow.
Exactly, and as you said, they put the pressure on. There's no need to panic. They've been creating the opportunities. They're taking them. Moving forward now, that will give them all massive confidence.
It will indeed. Well, I have a very happy camp in the studio. Thank you for your company, Darren. OK, well, let's head back to the ground and get some Palace perspective now and hear from Mark Guehi, the defender.
Mark, that must be a difficult result for you guys to take. How are you all feeling?
Terrible. Yeah, not many words to be said at the moment. Yeah, no one's really feeling good at the moment, that's for sure.
A place like this, it's always going to be difficult, but I suppose when you concede that early on in the game, it's just given you an uphill climb.
Yeah, we had a game plan. Thought we could, hold them out a bit longer than that. But I think it's more just the spiral effect. One goal goes in and another one. And, it definitely gets hard when you're playing top team like Arsenal.
You seem really deflated. I wonder whether you saw the banner that the fans held up in the stadium. I'm just going to repeat the words that were read on it. Wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions taking us backwards. Can you understand their frustration right now?
Yeah, they've got every right to be frustrated. Things aren't going the way they want it to. Things aren't going the way we want it to. And they have every right to voice their opinion.
Why is that? Why isn't everything going the way it should be or could be going right now?
I'm not sure, I know from our perspective, we could be doing a lot better on the pitch today, for an example. So, we just need to find a way of getting ourselves out of rut and winning games.
Is there enough in this group and with this manager that you can see an improvement for the rest of this season?
Yeah, 100%. We've got a lot of quality, but we just need to come together as a collective, as a group, and, be determined to make things better. And that all starts on the training pitch.
And it's a big month ahead, isn't it? Big games coming up, starting off with Sheffield United next, Brighton in another big game straight after that. Do you see this now as a defining part of the campaign?
Every game is. Every game before that was. So, like I said, on to the next one. Important that we bounce back from this. I think that's the only thing that we can do.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Nice one. Thank you.
You're very disappointed and deflated, Mark Guehi, there. You can see the last 10 Premier League results. Only one win in their last 10. And you'd expect more from this Palace side, given the amount of talent that they have in the mix. What does it come down to, Darren?
I mean, it's difficult because Roy Hodgson knows exactly what he's doing. He's been around for a long, long time. He's been at this football club for a long, long time. I think desire is one thing, tactics as well. Mark Guehi there, he spoke about they turned with a game plan, which was to kind of frustrate Arsenal sitting. I didn't see that from Crystal Palace at all today. They were way too easy. If that's what they planned on doing before they got to the Emirates, I didn't see that. There was no togetherness, there was gaps everywhere, Arsenal could play through them. And as I said, first half, I don't think Arsenal were that good. They were better, but they weren't like the free-flowing Arsenal we saw certainly second half. So, listen, they've got to get back on that training pitch and find a way of getting results, because at the minute, they're in free-for-all.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Righty, as we were talking about the match and even at half-time, it's just too negative from them, but that comes from the manager, does it not? Well,
you can't really blame Roy Hodgson too much in this situation, because the reason why they're probably in this league is because Roy Hodgson on a couple of occasions has come back and saved them. You just feel like, with the injuries, with the players that's missing, it just feels like it feels a little bit tired, it feels a little bit stale, and you can... Like what Benty said there, we're talking about a team that's come in with a plan, but I didn't see it. There wasn't enough energy in a team like Palace to try and stop them. They weren't going at it with real intensity to stop Arsenal, to take Arsenal's confidence away. Nothing. Arsenal just continued to build confidence because they had space and time in all aspects of that game. So they don't seem to have the energy at the moment to get it on the training pitch to work towards the plan.
OK, we talk about the plan, we talk about the manager. Let's hear from him now. Here he is, Roy Hodgson.
Roy, that must be a really tough result for you to take as a manager. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's very tough. Obviously, the first 2 goals, the corner kicks, I think we can be a bit aggrieved about that because, there was potential fouls in both of those. The third one, of course, came from our corner kick and their counter-attack. But until the last 10, 15 minutes, when I actually made some substitutions to try and get us a goal back, 3-0, we were staying in the game, we were still trying, we weren't conceding goal chance after goal chance, but of course those last 2 goals in the last few minutes, they aggravate the score enormously and they make everything look even worse than it was. We deserved to lose the game because they're playing against a much better team. Arsenal were very good today. But we stuck at it as best we could. But of course those last 2 goals sort of lend the suggestion that we didn't stick at it. And that's unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, is it extra frustrating for you because the game just seemed to unravel?
Yeah, but games tend to do that when you're 3-0 down, especially if you make substitution and the players we put on were very young players or players without experience. Obviously, I should have been more careful, I think, to try and at least protect the 3-0 and not take those chances, because for the young ones going on, it was very, very difficult. And it led to 2 further goals.
Roy, I saw you at the final whistle, just looking on at the away supporters here at the Emirates that were holding up the banner that said wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions, taking us backwards. Can you understand why the Crystal Palace fans are so frustrated right now?
Yes, because we're going through a very bad spell. There's no doubt about that. And, we were hoping this year to really kick on. That's not happened. I think there are reasons for it. It's not quite as simplistic as all that, but fans are always entitled to their opinions. The fans at the club have supported Crystal Palace extremely well through the years. They care. They want to see a strong Crystal Palace team. At the moment, they've seen a team today which has been outplayed by a superior opponent, and I think they're entitled to make their opinions felt. But I'm afraid there are times when we look at it from our position, the team and myself, what more could we do, with the people that we're trying to put on the field to get us the results? And so it's not always that easy. But as far as I'm concerned, the fans are quite entitled to any opinions they have, and I'm pretty certain they'll let the club know.